Good evening, everyone. We will be playing the school song.
It all just feels like a dream to me, to find a school so true. And I know it's all in make-believe when I picture a school like you. The one thing that I learned from you is that I can make my dreams come true. Someday when I wake up to find memories of Billabong in my mind, imagine how that could be. Imagine how that could be. T for teamwork, E for empowerment, and for mutual respect. B for passion, I for integrity, A for accountability. Billabong High, Billabong High, Billabong High, you know you can fly. Billabong High, you can touch the sky. Billabong High, Billabong High. We have aspiration over ambition. In our minds we have rhythm, courage and humanity. What makes us Billabong High is we believe we can touch the sky. Billabong High, Billabong High, Billabong High, you know you can fly. Billabong High, you can touch the sky. Billabong High, Billabong High, Billabong High, you know you can fly. Billabong High, touch the sky.
A very good evening to everyone. I'm Isha Malik from grade 7.
And I, Saiba Singh from grade 7.
Welcome you all on the digital platform of Billabong Inspire Talk series.
On behalf of Billabong High International School, we would like to thank all the parents for their support and work towards our school.
Billabong Inspire Talk series initiative will bring together working parents from various fields of expertise. They will share their life experiences, which will help motivate and inspire the students towards achieving their goals.
BHIS strongly believes in the core values, which inform your thoughts, decisions, and actions, and help you align your career or life path to what's important to you. They are the essential foundation in finding your life purpose because they remind us and others who we truly are. BHIS core values are diligence, service, compassion, resourcefulness, commitment, and integrity.
Billabong Inspire Talk series is all geared up today for an interesting and enlightening session with our speaker, Mrs. Ruchi Gupta, who will be taking us through her life journey.
Mrs. Ruchi Gupta has done MBA in Finance from IBS with 6 years of experience in banking as a priority relationship manager and 2 years as a senior resume writer. She started and is successfully running a desserts cafe from last 4 years in Kanpur by the name of Femish.
The focus has been on quality food with regular updation of product variety. It is one of the popular desserts cafe in Kanpur.
Welcome our guest speaker for the day, Mrs. Ruchi Gupta.
Thank you so much for this introduction. Thank you for making me a part of the BHIS Parent Talk. This initiative gives an opportunity to the parents of different fields to share their journey with kids. It will help the kids to understand and enhance their knowledge about different fields, and it will motivate them to achieve goals in their lives.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Wow, ma'am, I have got so inspired to see your passion and commitment towards your work. Desserts is one of my favorite things, which I can eat all the time, and after knowing about your cafe, I would like to visit soon.
Yes, Saiba. Whenever my mom and I have visited Famish, we always order the cookies and cream ice cream, and it is so scrumptious that within 2 minutes the thing is over. I wish the ice cream could appear right before my eyes.
Ma'am, we would like to ask you a few questions related to your journey and to your work. Also, students can ask their questions by writing in the chat box.
Ma'am, firstly, I would like to ask, how have you developed your interest towards food industry?
I have spent a lot of time in researching about the industry, the market trends, the potential growth sectors before I could finalize on the food sector. In India, the food sector has emerged as a high profit and high growth sector due to its enormous potential in value addition. We have seen in the last few years that there has been exponential growth in online ordering system, small cafes, tea outlets, coffee shops, and small retail outlets, which are based on food. This is due to the change in the lifestyle of people and their preference of having pre-cooked meals and ready-made food, which actually saves a lot of time and effort in their busy lives. Food is such a product that it will always be consumed. So it's a nice thing to go for a food sector, but it looks easy, but it is not. To create a niche for yourself in the market, which is very competitive, you need to maintain the standards of quality, the taste, and hygiene. So in that way, a food sector is a lucrative business.
Wow, ma'am. How did you start your journey in food industry and what was that one thing which inspired you to start your own venture?
As you know that I was doing job for so many years, so the main reason for me to shift from a fixed salary job to a business was actually a very risky take. But I had my personal issues. I had Avnika, my daughter. I wanted to spend time with her, and job wasn't giving me that much time that I could spend time with my family. Moreover, business gave me independence to allocate time as per my preference, but it also let me explore new opportunities, build up new talent, and enhance my knowledge and skill in so many ways at the same time. Initially, I set up a simple ice cream outlet in Southex Mall, Kidwainagar, Kanpur, which was only catering to Sundays. As was new to the business, I was a little apprehensive to start new products. But as it gained momentum, I got a positive response. I had certain confidence that I can add few more things. So I started adding a lot of products gradually. I added waffles, shake, momos, chocolates, pastries, and so many other things, but not all together, gradually. As the business grew and there was a positive response and it was gaining momentum, I again got the confidence that I can now set up another unit. So I started exploring different areas, different places where I can set up a new unit. And I got to know that the Kavanpur Club Kanpur has an opportunity where I can put up this unit and I can give it a try. So I started with that unit recently 2 years back. And I'm glad to share that it is also getting a positive response and it is being appreciated. So now it is giving me a little more confidence to, have a more and more outlets in coming future and, build a little small kiosk in the places which are having growth potential. I do have a small video of the outlet which I have set up in Kavanpur Club. I would like you people to see it. You'll get an idea, a glimpse of how I have been setting up these small kiosks. So just have a look at this video.
Wow, ma'am, why did you choose Billabong for your kids?
Um, Billabong is a school which not only focuses on academics completely, it focuses on the overall development of the child. I'm very happy with the curriculum, but at the same time, I'm happy that each and every child in the school gets an equal opportunity to participate in all sorts of activities which the school conducts, whether it is annual day, sports day, inter-school, inter-house, elocution, anything which happens. All the students are given an equal opportunity. It's just not that few kids are good at something, they are only getting the chance again and again. Even those who are not good at, say, elocution, or they are not good in dance, they are also given a motivation to learn it and then perform. So that way, all the children in the school get to enhance their knowledge, or their skill, and they can work on the USPs which they already possess. Moreover, it is the practical knowledge which I'm very impressed with, and I always knew that the school focuses on doing a lot of experiments, the practical knowledge giving to the kids, so that the concepts are clear. So when the fundamentals are clear, when the basics are clear, the child will do very good in their future. So I am very happy with the way Billabong conducts its studies.
Thank you, ma'am. What motivates you towards your work and what are your ideals?
Uh, I was a complete novice in this field. I had no idea. There was no one to guide me in how to go about and how to set up this unit or food line. So I had to struggle a lot in terms of I had to do a lot of hit and trial methods to find out what products I would like to keep it in my outlet. I had to work a lot on the recipes. I worked a lot on the photo shoots of the products to build up a website, to build up the menu. So there were a lot of challenges, and working on them, and then trying different ways. Sometimes I kept few items, then I removed those items. So it was a complete struggle. So after all that hard work and dedication, when I'm getting the appreciation, I am getting the results when the stores are already online. I mean, they are getting good response. I feel happy. I feel motivated that after so much of struggle, at least it is paying off good. So that keeps me motivated. Moreover, if you talk about the ideas, there have been so many people from different fields who have just completely entered the food industry, and they have just set their mark. They're having so many new startups which are so successful establishments, like if you see Swiggy, Zomato, Chayos. There are so many kinds of business which have been opened up by the professionals who are doing really good in their professional life. But they did take a drastic change. They take a step. They left their job, which is a fixed income job, and they took that risk of starting their own setup. So I think anyone can do it. It's just one idea which should click.
Thank you, ma'am. We would also wanted to know more about your experience working as a priority relationship manager in bank and as a senior resume writer.
It was a campus recruitment for me. When I was doing my MBA, I was recruited by Kotak Mahindra Bank. So as a fresher, you are always full with zeal and enthusiasm to learn new techniques to do your job, and you're very excited to learn new things. So my key responsibility areas were to handle the high net worth individuals of the bank. I was responsible to manage their investments, design their portfolio, and also maintain their relationship with the bank. So interacting with all sorts of people and making their investment portfolio, I could actually apply what I learned in MBA. So it was a very satisfying job for me, that whatever I have learned in finance, I was able to make those presentations, those portfolios, and get good returns for the customers. So it was a very good experience for me. As a resume writer, resume writer, the profile was completely different. I got an opportunity to interact with all the top level managers of different sectors. So, which I could have not gotten an opportunity elsewhere. So people from FMCG or vendor, distribution, IT, software. So there are so many sectors. I enjoyed talking to them, understanding their growth path, like how they work from a low level, then medium level, and then a top level manager. So I understood the ins and outs of different sectors. So it was a very enriching job for me, which actually enhanced my knowledge about so many different sectors and fields. There were a lot of people I kept interacting even after I left job. They always used to call for my advice, to rectify their resumes, which I already made for them. So it was a very good job for me in both the profile.
Amazing. Ma'am, what is your personal favorite dish from your own menu?
I just love waffles. So when I used to travel, when I did not open my counter 4 years back, when I was just exploring what things I should add, what I should do about what things should come in my menu if I go to a food industry, I always kept waffles in my mind. So I have tried a lot of things and a lot of flavors. But my personal favorite is hazelnut waffle because it is good for those who are in love with Nutella. I think all the kids just love Nutella. So hazelnut is all about Nutella lovers. And I just relish the chocolate sprinkles, which you call vermicelli on the waffle. It just gives a unique taste, a unique combination to the whole idea of serving a waffle. I do have a small video which you can just have a look and see how these hazelnut waffles look like and how we present them.
So tell me a secret. What are you hiding now? Show me your weakness. Cause I will shine the light. So say what you want, what you have in mind. Stop telling me the things that will keep us fight. Or treat me the way that you want me to. Or stop what you do, I will do it too. Say what you want, say what you need. Say what you want from me. Say what you want from me.
Thank you, ma'am.
I
Also wanted to know, how has this pandemic affected your work and what did you do to deal with the problems?
Things like this are never foreseen. You never know what may come in the line of your business. It's just not pandemic. Anything, any strong competition may come up in the place you have already set up your business. There might be so many challenges when you are already in a business. So you should be mentally prepared how to tackle all these things. When this pandemic stuck, we all were affected in some way or the other. It's just not the business, our personal lives also were affected so much. The businesses have actually seen the rock bottom. They have gone through so much of tough times. So we did also face those problems. It was very difficult for us to sustain in the market. But we did have an opportunity to start the online business once that lockdown thing was over and we were allowed to do the online business. Then we started doing personal online deliveries and delivery through Zomato and Swiggy. So this actually helped us to retain the customer base, people who were our loyal customers, who were always giving us repeat orders, who relished the food we used to serve. So we could actually serve them. So this is how we were working when the pandemic was there. And once that lockdown was over, then the challenge was to bounce back, to actually work harder to regain the business momentum, which we were already into before the pandemic, which was doing really good. So I think it was the quality, the taste, and the way we were serving food to people, that we were able to rebound and we were able to serve customers again,
Thank you, ma'am. Would you like to give us
and we were able to sustain even after the lockdown in the market.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Would you like to give us any message?
My message to all the kids would be that obviously, like, people keep telling you that you should always keep trying. The failures are the stepping stones. You have to learn through your failures. See, before I started this food industry, I haven't mentioned that there were many other things which I have tried and I could not do it well, and I left it. And I did try a home furnishing business, which was focused on doing exhibitions in different cities, which again I wasn't able to do it. But then it does not, it did not take away my zeal to do something of my own. I did fail at one place, and then I again tried to do something of my own so that, I can have a business of my own. So a failure does not mean that you cannot do anything. A failure tells you where you were wrong, what mistakes you did, and you always make a point in your head, like, next time when I start walking, what things I have to keep in my mind so I do not fall. Again, you have to follow your dreams. If you want to succeed in life, you have to keep trying. You cannot just give up one day and say, no, I cannot do anything. Anything is possible. It just needs a lot of hard work. It needs dedication. And then you will be able to achieve your goals which you want.
Thank you, ma'am. Now we would like to read the questions from the chat box.
So the first question from Agastya Saha 6MB. For startup business, what do you advise for initial investment? Should we invest our money or loans from banks?
See, now again, for a startup, you have to think of lot of things. It's just not, it's not as simple to decide that you should take money from market or you should invest yourself. I actually would rather think that I would start with a low investment if I do not have a backup. I always prefer putting up little tiny steps to succeed. In case if you want to do something of your own, you do not have a financial backup, then only you should go for loans, because at the end you have to pay that off. For me, it is important that if you can start with a little support from your family, maybe a financial backup, then you can just give them back. Or even if you want to go for a loan, it should match up to your business level. You should understand that will that business reap those much benefits, those profits, that you will be able to repay the loan in time. You will be able to pay the EMI. Are you going to get the per month income as such that you're going to run your business? You have the running capital. Apart from that, you will be able to pay off the loans. So you have to chalk that out. You have to prepare a complete investment design, that how much you are expecting back from your business on monthly basis, and then how you allocate those funds.
So the next question is again from Augustus Saha 6MB. So for investment portfolio, what kind of market research should we do and for how long?
There is nothing as how long. If you want to stay invested in market, you have to be updated on a daily basis. If you put your investment in mutual funds or stock market or any ULIP plan, any plan, you just cannot say, okay, I have done the research till now I'm not going to do, I'm done with it, I've invested, I know that will grow. It doesn't work like that. For any investment, whether it is a short term or a long term, you need to be updated on a daily basis. And that's how it will work, because sometimes you have invested in a certain plan, it's not performing good. You just cannot sit back, see, I've invested, now I'm not going to change it, I took a right decision. This doesn't work like that. If it is not performing, you need to switch the funds. Within the funds or any other portfolio you have to design, or you have to change the complete portfolio itself. You have to reallocate your funds. So there is no set design for one person where to invest, how to invest. It depends on your needs. You want short-term return or you want long-term return. So all these things will help you decide and design your portfolio.
Thank you, ma'am. The next question is from Arman Goel 1AN. He wants to know how to save money in bank and how to fix deposit.
How to save money? See, you are not earning. So if your parents need to save money, the best idea of saving money is allocate a fixed amount to your saving account on a monthly basis, so that you can save it easily. You don't have to chuck out a major sum from your already existing business or already existing investment and then put it in the bank. And see, bank FD is not the only investment. If you want to do a FD, you just need to have a bank account. You have to complete your KYC, that is know your client details, that is your identity proof, your address proof, your PAN card details. Once you furnish all these, your account will be opened at any bank. And when you open an account, you put your money in it and you can simply fill a form, your FD will be done. That's not the issue. But how to allocate it, how to put money, that you need to figure out, that you want to put a lump sum or you want to do it on a monthly basis. There are monthly recurring fixed deposits also. Like every month, you can keep putting 2,000 and you can do it for 5 years, 3 years, whatever. I mean, it depends on how disposable income you have.
So there's another question by Pankuri Goel, 4ST. She wants to ask, why did you leave banking?
I just told that I left banking because I had my daughter, Abnika. Banking is like a full day job. I used to report at 9 o'clock in the morning. I used to come back by 9 at night. It was a very good profile. I was doing pretty good. I was happy with my job. But I just felt that I am just not there in the initial years of my daughter. And I had that thing in me that I need to spend time with her. It's her initial growth years. I can do anything, but these years of her life, I'm never going to get back. So I just wanted to change my stream and do something, but at the same time, do not ignore my daughter.
Thank you, ma'am. The next question is from how do you understand that fund allocation is in the right track in BSE or NSE?
Can you repeat? You're not audible.
Yes, ma'am, I said that. Agastya is asking, how do we understand that our fund allocation is in the right track in BSE or NSE?
See, fund tracking is in BSU or NSE. See, there are some common funds. Okay, there. If you are talking about stock market, you have to keep a track on daily basis. You have to see the share prices on a daily basis. But it's always safe to invest in mutual funds if you are a novice, if you have a basic knowledge of investment. It's always better to put in mutual funds, because mutual funds, what they do, they also invest in shares, but they are already pre-designed diversified folio. It has so many shares of other companies, of so many companies. So you are, see, if you are investing 100 rupees, your 100 rupees is getting allocated to so many companies. It's not going into one place. So NSE or BSE, it's when you're talking about stock. If you talk about mutual funds, you invest and you see the industry growth in which mutual fund you have invested, whether it is a retail sector, it is a telecom sector, which sector you are investing, you have to see the future, the growth prospects of it.
So the next question is from Anisha Srivastav, 3AF. She wants to know where you completed your banking exam.
No, I did not do any banking exam. I did my MBA from ICPI Business School, and there was the campus recruitment. They have the criteria, the minimum criteria was in my profile that I should be an MBA. So I did my MBA degree. So they came to the campus. They did interview of all 350 students. There were 3 students who got selected. Luckily, I was among those 3. And I did not have to appear. In private banks, you do not have to appear for banking exams. It's only, I think, with public banks, you have to appear for those banking exams.
Thank you, ma'am. Now it's time for some fun element. It's quiz time. Students will get 10 seconds for each question and they are requested to write their answers in the chat box.
The first question is, ice cream is popular in which season?
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
We have the correct answer from Akshaj, and the correct answer is summer.
Which country grows 80% of the world's vanilla bean used for ice cream? And your options are
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
The correct answer is D, Madagascar.
The next question is, in which famous city and country did the ice cream brand Haagen-Dazs get its start?
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
The correct answer is New York City, America.
By Kunjika Gupta. Which American president declared July to be National Ice Cream Month across America?
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
The correct answer is C, Ronald Reagan by Akshar.
The next question is, which of these cakes is not actually a cake?
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
We have the correct answer from Kunjika Gupta 4RM. It is cheesecake.
What is blind baking?
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
The correct answer is D, baking a crust without a filling. The correct answer was from Anusha Srivastav.
The next question is, which country eats the most ice cream per year?
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
And the correct answer is New Zealand.
Given by Vivan Gupta. Your next question is, what is the world's most popular ice cream topping?
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
The correct answer is B, chocolate. The answer was given by Akshaj.
The next question is, which of these ice cream flavor isn't real?
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
The correct answer is D. All of these are real, given by Kunjika Gupta 4RM.
Your next question is, which company was the first to make a batch of chocolate chip cookie dough ice cream?
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
The correct answer is C. Ben and Jerry's, given by Vivan Gupta.
The next question is, where do historians think the earliest form of ice cream probably originated?
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
The correct answer is China, given by Vivan Gupta 3NJ.
Which country is the largest exporter of mangoes?
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
The correct answer is B. India, given by Prajwal Yadav.
The next question is, which is the most expensive spice on earth?
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
The correct answer is saffron.
Your next question is, who invented frozen food?
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
The correct answer is Clarence Birdseye, given by Pankaj Goyal 4ST.
The last question is, who invented the microwave oven?
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
The correct answer is Percy Spencer. Many congratulations to all the winners. We have got so inspired to see your passion and commitment towards the work, and I'm sure everyone must have enjoyed to know more about your journey with Billabong.
Our heartfelt gratitude to our founder and CEO, Mrs. Preeti Agarwal, for initiating such talks which kindles in us the curiosity to explore more. We convey our heartfelt gratitude to our guest speaker, Mrs. Ruchi Gupta, for the dynamic talk.
Your feedbacks and suggestion is most important to us for raising the bar all the time. WhatsApp class groups will remain open till 5:30 p.m. Parents and students are requested to share their feedbacks and suggestions in the class group.
Thank you so much, everyone, to be a part of this Billabong Inspire Talk series.
We shall meet next week on 14th August 2021 at the same time with the next guest speaker, Mrs. Kakul Jaiswal. Thank you.
Thank you.